What do all of these people have in common? They or someone they know has been homeless. These are their stories, and in them we find a gift.
I grew up in a very disruptive family. My mother, bless her heart, had some mental issues. My dad was an alcoholic. I found myself doing drugs at a very early age. My dad got into drugs and I lived in a drug home. Found myself in and out of jail a lot, getting into a lot of trouble. In 2009, I was court-ordered to the program. April 1st, 2009, I quit doing drugs. But in August of 2009 was when I was set free. Faith Mission introduced me to Jesus Christ. I began a relationship with Him that I really didn't know existed. My future is victory. I don't walk as a woman of the past. I walk as a woman in victory. Homelessness has a lot to do with hopelessness. There was a time when I was hopeless. I was homeless, I was hopeless, and I came to a shelter, a homeless shelter, Faith Mission. And it was there that I found and received the most love I'd ever received in my life. It was there that people seen something in me that I never saw in myself.
I didn't have the courage to go on my own. I had a lot of fears regarding homeless people. I felt like I was naive and would be taken advantage of. God had to really change my heart to bring me to the point that I am today. That was the beginning of jail ministry for me. And I quickly came to know some of the women. I started meeting with some of them once a week. And we saw them as real people, not as statistics or not as nuisances to society. I quickly realized that something needed to be done for her and women like her so that they didn't have to go back out onto the streets and sell their bodies just to survive. So every time I would speak, I would say, we've got to do something for these women. We've got an ugly secret in Wichita Falls. There's no place for women to go that is safe when they leave the jail. They had a big reluctance to go to the mission, and many times they would choose living under a bridge before they would go to Faith Mission. I began to picture a 3-bedroom house with house parents where women could live. And the more I spoke, the more people would come up, certain people that God handpicked would come up to me after I spoke and would say, I'll help you. 9 of us came together and raised over $4 million. And my 3-bedroom house that I had pictured ended up being Faith Refuge, which is, I think, 24,000 square feet. It is so much more than I ever would have dreamed that we would be able to have here in Wichita Falls. Being connected to Faith Mission and Faith Refuge has helped me to fulfill my God-given purpose. I get to see miracles happen through the glass as I am visiting with these women, and I see them literally transformed before my eyes. And then to know that there is a good place, a path for them to move towards self-sufficiency and to learn how to lead a godly life.
It's an issue that needs to be dealt with. It's increasing at an alarming rate. I had 30 plus years of drugs, alcohol, and the streets. And one day, I took my mom's car. You have to excuse me. I took my mom's car, and I had it for 6 months. And my family wouldn't take me back after that escapade. And I had just given up. I was broke, but didn't know I was broken. I was living in crack houses, park benches, wherever I could just get some rest is where I laid my head. I had a period of sobriety for about 6 months, and I relapsed again for about 45 days. And that was when the veil was lifted off my eyes that I was just completely broken. And about that time, a friend of mine told me about Faith Mission and their New Beginnings program. And I decided to come up here and give it a try. And I didn't know what to expect, but I knew I was ready for change. When I first started, I was in that bunk over there in the corner. I did the first 30 days over here where I pretty much got my sobriety, my recovery, started going to the Bible studies, and I just reunited my relationship with Jesus Christ. And at the same time, Faith Mission was in the back drop, helping me get some things situated. They were doing all that while I was in the first 30 days here in the dorm. And it just kind of reminded me of how low I was, that I was with other people who were suffering from homelessness. And it just taught me how to reacquaint myself with people. After I did my 6 months in New Beginnings, I transitioned to Faith Enterprise, where down there I got even more work ethic. Upon successful completion of Faith Enterprise, I moved over into the transition house. I just waited on God to give me the opportunity to move into my own place, and I stayed there all the way up till I had about 30 days left, I think it was, and I moved into my apartment. I hadn't had an apartment in almost 10 years. I just thank Faith Mission. Well, let me retract that. I thank God for using Faith Mission as the catalyst for helping me get my life together.
I suspect that many people in the community have some of the same problems that some of the men and women here do. It's just that you can't tell from outward appearances, because some people cover pretty well. I understand the fears. We have a litigious society. Our experience has been that these people are a good bet. I think most people make their assumptions about how people got in those conditions. I think that we underestimate incredible impact that is beyond the control of a lot of people, whether it's substance abuse or the family that they grew up in. It's easy to think that, well, they're just not trying, but if you've ever worked with somebody who's had a traumatic experience in their home as a child, or someone who's dealing with substance abuse, it really changes your attitude. They cannot change on their own. They can't change through their own efforts. Yes, it is a terrible situation to be in, but there is a solution. There are solutions, and there are solutions here at Faith Mission. I don't believe you'll ever find the solution is you just need to try harder. You cannot solve the problem yourself. You have to have some outside help. So where would you go to outside help? You go somewhere that has been successful in helping other people solve this problem. And Faith Mission has done that. They take on the whole person's life. They're providing lodging, food, shelter, and a community. Everything that you need, and maybe what you weren't getting before. So it's all encompassing.
When we see a client, the first thing that we want to do is make sure that they know that they're loved. And we do that by meeting physical needs, food and shelter and clothing and those kinds of things. And our motto here is every person has a story and every story matters to God. So we listen and we try to find out where they're coming from, what's gone on in their past, what they would like to accomplish in their future. We allow them to set goals for themselves. We allow them to tell us what they need so that we can help them either here in-house or we can refer them to some of our partners in the community. Our staff has been so committed to helping our clients. This is one of those things that only we can provide the services for in our community. The homeless people don't have a place to shelter in place. This is their shelter. This is the end of the road for many of them.
You know, my main concern is making sure my kids have a stable environment, a positive environment.
Everybody was nice. All the kids was my friend, and they were playing with me every day.
I look at life a little bit more differently, you know, from having everything and then having everything stripped away from me. You know, it's given me a fresh start. You know, it's a no judgment zone, and a lot of people need that.
I want to be a doctor taking care of people. I want to be a firefighter taking care of people because I'm going to take the fire out.
I think sometimes we want God to give us a whole lot of choices and a whole lot of chances, but then with other people, if they've messed up more than once or twice, then we want, you know, we don't want to give them another chance. And that's not where we're supposed to be as believers. I think in the past when we've brought life group here to serve, I think it's a reminder. Everybody, you know, particularly in our life group and our friend group, sometimes you can get real cloistered in a bubble and staying around people that think like you, dress like you, act like you. And when you realize that there are other people in the world that have so much less, I think it's very, very good. It's almost humbling for them, and it's been good for our life group members.
And our kids.
And our kids to see that. I think it's very easy for kids who are raised a certain way to assume that everybody else is just like them, and it is always good for kids to see that other people have it a lot different than they do.
I would say sometimes we made them come. But it ended up being a blessing, and that they enjoyed the interactions, and it was a good reminder.
Well, I think that no man or no woman is beyond hope, you know, and that we are supposed to be intervening in everyone's lives that we can, and really the people that are come here are at a point of wanting to turn around. They're willing to meet the rules that Faith Mission puts out. And they're wanting an opportunity to turn their lives around, and we ought to give somebody an opportunity, not just once, but twice, but 3 times, to give themselves a chance to heal and to move forward with their lives.
I'm like anyone else. I definitely have problems. I have issues to be dealt with, like I said, like anyone else. I've struggled with addiction for over 15 years, and I've tried treatment centers, tried to address my drug addiction, which was actually never the issue. It was what I used as a solution for the issue that I had, which was a spiritual deficiency. I didn't know Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. Less than a year ago, there was really no hope for my future. I was faced with a crossroads this past November. It was basically go to prison and keep doing what you're used to doing, or do something with your life. That's ultimately what brought me here to Faith Mission. It was just another chance that was given to me, and here I am, and I'm looking to take full advantage of it.
When I was young, my mother and father were drug addicts, like hardcore drug addicts. You know, they used everything. every type of drug. They drank, partied all the time. Their addiction took them to the point of where I was 4 years old whenever they left me with my 2-year-old sister and infant brother. We lived out in the country. We didn't have anybody. I remember my brother crying and not knowing what to do. You know, I just knew that he had a bottle, and that's all. I didn't know what to do. And then from that part, I'm not even really sure how we made it through that. But I remember being so scared. And before that, my father started coming into my room and molesting me. I mean, I was a child, and he was coming in there upsetting me. Life just kind of went on that way. You know, I took care of my brother's sister. My mom had 2 more children. I took care of them. I knew how to cook everything by the time I was 5 years old. And I remember the first time I had to go to school. And it's a small school, and I remember going to school, and I was crying and crying. And my dad and they were like, "What? Don't cry." You know, they just left, you know, because the teacher said I would be okay. Well, I was so scared because my brother and sister were at home, and I was afraid they were going to leave them. That they were just going to, you know, leave them, and they couldn't take care of themselves. And then, so time went on, go to this house, and they had methamphetamine there. And I remember that guy told me, "Do you want to forget everything bad that's happening in your life?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did." So I did meth. From that day forward, that's all I did. That's all I cared about. I went to jail. I was in and out of my kids' life. You know, I would tell them, "I'm coming." They'd have their bags packed waiting on me. I'd never show up. You know, I was breaking their hearts just as much as my parents were breaking mine, had broke mine. You know, and up until that point, I denied there was a God. There was no God, and nobody could tell me any better, because if there was a God, why would he allow anything like that to happen and love us? He does not love us. I hated him. I hated him because he had the power to do something and he didn't. So I went to church. I just felt this feeling come over me. Like I felt peace. And then after that, I was in church all the time. And so I remember being there, and I told them, I was getting ready to get paroled out, and I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to leave because I knew while I was in there I was not going to use drugs. And I was so scared, and so I just prayed. I said, "God, don't let me out. Put me somewhere where God can reach me, and when I could be with God every day and get to know him more." And so my mom, she's been clean and sober for a long time, and so I didn't want to, but I reached out to her and asked her if I could move in, stay with them. And she said, well, her apartments wouldn't let a felon live there. And she ended up finding Faith Refuge. She went to the parole office, got this, the doors haven't even been open like a couple of months. And she got me in Faith Refuge, and that's what changed my life. A house like this gives women opportunity to be able to go out in the world and live a good life, to go out there without the stress and the worry, because they will have money, they will hopefully have a car. There's nothing like security in the bank. I think it brings them closer to God, you know, and they learn how to cook, they learn how to clean, they learn how to do their finances, they pay rent. Some of them have never paid rent in their life, you know, so they're so proud to pay that rent on time. But a house like this saves their lives. The Victory Home has given me the opportunity to help other women. I'm thankful for my past. Thankful for all the pain, all the hurt. Because I had not gone through that, I wouldn't have a testimony today. I wouldn't be able to reach women from the Faith Refuge, women here at the Victory Home, and it was all worth it now that I understand the bigger picture. So I look at it this way, everything that's out there, and I tell the girls here that everything we have gone through out there, we were being prepared for a ministry. And if we don't take and do that ministry that the Lord blesses us with, then what was it all for? Why do we go through all that? If we're just gonna, yes, being saved is good, but if we're not trying to help other people, because God calls all of us. It just depends if we're gonna accept that call or not.
I just want to thank you, Faith Mission, for giving me the hope, the gift of hope. I want to thank you, you know, that I have such a huge extended family. And just thank you for giving me a chance and for showing me more love than I've ever had in my life.
Thank you for giving the gift of second chances.
Thank you for giving me the gift of being a successful grandfather, a successful man of God, a successful son. Thank you for giving me the gift of being a man again.
Thank you, Faith Mission, for the gift of mixing compassion with wisdom.
Thank you for the gift of a fresh start.
I just want to thank, the mission, Faith Mission, for giving me this gift of the ability to love, the ability to receive love, just reconnect me with my Maker, my Creator. From the bottom of my heart, I'm thankful for that. You've helped restore my life. You have helped restore relationships in my life. And because of you guys, my future is much brighter and my hope is restored. Thank you.
Thank you for giving the gift of hope, the gift of second chances, and the gift of spiritual answer to people that need it.
Thank you for giving the gift that transforms lives.
Thank you for the gift of opportunity.
I want to thank our donors, thank the staff, the incredible staff of Faith Mission and Faith Refuge. They are so devoted, and it's because of them that I am able to continue to do my ministry within their walls.
Can you give me the gift of hope?
Thank you for watching. We greatly value your time and consideration. 2020 has been a very challenging year for Wichita Falls Faith Mission. Would you consider a gift to ensure this vital ministry continues to give the gift of faith? God bless you.